Hi everybody. I wanted to do a video. Sorry, I'm a bit late for my weekly video. But I wanted to do a video because I've had a couple of conversations in the last few months with older folks who are in business, talking about just this sense of being really tired and questioning what they're doing and questioning what's the point of it all. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about burnout. And so I did a bit of research. So it's just been raising its head. And I don't know. I suspect that this is something that, what was the phrase I heard today? Everybody has, I don't know if the phrase was chapter. Like there are different seasons it was. I was listening to a podcast this morning and they were talking about, it was actually about investments and how at different seasons in your life you'll have, like when you're young, it's very when you're young you can take a lot of risks typically. As you get older you can be less risky. So it's kind of like this notion of seasons and there are different seasons in your life. Like you might be starting a family, you're young, you're adventuring, you're starting a family in the middle there, you're coming up to retirement and planning for, later in life. So there's different seasons. And so I wonder, and I don't know, I don't have the evidence and maybe I should do some more research on this, but a lot of the conversations I'm having with women over 50 who are in a particular season, 50s and 60s, is business is hard, they're tired, they've given everything and now what's next, that kind of thing. So I did a little bit of research around burnout. And so I'm just going to read my notes. So burnout is a state of emotional, physical and mental exhaustion caused by chronic stress and comprises three main components. So these are the three parts. So the first one is physical and emotional exhaustion. So you may find that you are waking up each morning with a constant state of dread or fatigue. The second one is cynicism and detachment in the workplace. So you're finding yourself cynical of the workplace and perhaps even of your clients. You have also developed an increased sense of detachment from your workplace. And the third one, which I think is really interesting, is reduced professional efficacy. So you once felt like you were great at your job, but now feel unaccomplished and demotivated. It's important to recognize. Okay, so that there's sort of the three parts of. So there's like a physical exhaustion and physical and emotional exhaustion. This sense of just, what's the point? Can't you stop enjoying your work? You're cynical about your clients and this whole thing. I don't even want to. It's like, what's the point of it all? And the professional efficacy is an interesting one. Like you thought, efficacy is about your belief in your ability to do the thing. Whether it's efficacy about, I don't know. My personal efficacy around cooking is not strong. I don't think I'm a very good cook. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. That's a different YouTube video. But you can develop, I think you can develop efficacy. You have lots of small wins over time, gives you efficacy. But what's happening at that point when you're experiencing burnout, where your efficacy that you used to have is suddenly becoming diminished. And that could be around a lot of different things around, technological change or some kind of change in the world. And you think, I used to know how to do this thing and now suddenly it's like it's just too hard. But those definitions are from an article that I read. It's called The Burnout Era by Sarah El Said. It was in the Law Society of South Australia. That was published in 2022. But yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think that I've also got what can you do about it. If you're experiencing burnout, you should take some steps to recover. Exercising, that's a good one. Take some time off work, so actually having breaks, reassessing your goals. And again, our goals at different parts of our life change. I don't have the same goals I think I had when I was younger. To prevent future episodes of burnout, you should try and find the source of your stress in your life and implement effective strategies to manage that stress. Yeah, so burnout I think is a real thing, and I think that kind of in our sector where we're talking, where so much of my my work is around helping people start businesses and people in those early phases growing businesses and getting established. While I spend a lot of my daily life talking about starting and growing, personally, and I'm only 55, so I'm not stopping anytime soon, but personally I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not in the starting phase, kind of feeling like, what is, where am I? And I was, what does the next, in 15 years only I'll be 70. So it's kind of like, well, what does this look like? And a lot of my friends are experiencing this as well. And I think that it's worth having the conversation about burnout, business burnout, when you've just given everything. And for some people that I've spoken to, their businesses are struggling because of change. And if you know me, you know that I'm a fan of PESTLE, the PESTLE analysis, the political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. What's going on in those parts of the world that have made your business, made the world change for your business. So, and that's a lot of the people. So I'm being cryptic with it, not talking about people, but there are people for whom COVID really, change the world for them, not for the better. So yeah, I think that it's time. I think that there are a lot of people at this season of life wondering what the next stage of business. So we may start seeing Indigenous business owners preparing to exit, businesses for sale, transforming in some way. So there'll be I don't have any experience in that. So that'll be interesting to see what that looks like. Because if you're an Indigenous business owner and your business has been built and is successful as a result of the Indigenous procurement policy, if you want to sell it and for it to maintain its current customers, you need to sell it to another Indigenous person. So that raises a whole bunch of issues. So how do you sell an Indigenous business? Something I've been wondering for the last couple of years, but I've actually never said it out loud before. I was like, I wonder how that business is going to be valued when it can only be sold to an Indigenous person. So interesting times ahead, I say. Interesting times ahead. But yes, burnout. Please keep well and go and find your peeps that you can talk to. Because, it can be pretty shit sometimes being in business. It's pretty bloody lonely. And most of us don't have any super. If you wanted to be rich, I said this, who was I saying this to? Someone told me I said this to them recently, but I'd said it before. I was like, oh God, if you want to be rich, go work for corporates, don't start a business. Go and become an academic. Or if you want security, don't start a business. If you want economic security, go and work for the public service or corporation or university, because you're not going to find it in business. We're poor. We're the poor cousins. Oh no, artists are the poorest cousins.